All right, what's up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here. Thank you so much for tuning in to GSD Interviews. Before we jump into this interview, I want to give our sponsors a quick plug that make this show possible. So our first sponsor is our real estate software, www.perfectstormnow.com, the most affordable and effective lead generation software out there. This isn't just a website. Yeah, we've got a website. Yeah, we've got a blog feature. Yeah, we have a testimonials and video client testimonials feature. We have community pages. We have all of the typical website stuff. Where we differentiate ourselves is on the lead generation. We teach you how to lead generate. This system is extremely effective with lead generation. We can teach you how to go out there and generate more leads than you can handle without spending a penny on lead generation, right? Not only, though, do we teach you how to lead generate, not only is it a great website, it's a coaching platform combined with software. So we have two monthly live training sessions that are 2 hours long with myself personally. So we teach you how to use the site, how to generate with the site, how to leverage the site. And it goes deeper than that. Okay, I'm getting all these leads. What do I do? What do I say? How do I convert these leads? So we go and train you and coach you on every aspect of that so you can go out there and dominate it in your business. You have access to me, my developers on a daily basis as a customer of ours. So it's $99 a month, no contracts, no registration fees. It's month to month, $99 a month. You can't beat it, right? So go check us out, www.perfectstormnow.com. Our next sponsor is my personal mentorship. You know, if you're ready to take your business, your life, your career to the next level, we've got my 90-day mastery boot camp, which is a mentorship with me personally. Every single week, it's 3 hours or 2 hours of live coaching and training with me, and then 1 hour live Q&A. You have daily access to me and our private mastermind. We build out your playbook, every aspect of the residential real estate business, from how to lead generate to how to lead follow up to how to do your presentations to how to build out your database. We even start talking about how to grow a team, how to hire, how to fire. There's nothing that we do not cover inside that program. Then after the program's done, after the initial 12-week program's done, it's an ongoing platform. It's $50 a month where you have access to me for as long as you want. You know, right? And then that $50 a month program, you guys, I've made that where $50 a month is more powerful than a $1,000 a month coaching program that you can get anywhere else. So we do 4 hours of monthly coaching at $50 a month. So you get 4 hours of live coaching. We have 2 in-person masterminds here in Phoenix, Arizona. They're every 6 months. It's a private mastermind with me and only the alumni bootcamp members that are part of the mentorship. We don't bring in guest speakers. There's nothing to sell. There's none of that crap that we all get at all these other seminars that we go to. You usually go pay $500 for a seminar and they try to sell you a bunch of shit. That's not what this is. This is hardcore masterminding. This is a hardcore mentorship, mastermind, and growth program. So if you guys want to learn more about that, www.90daymastery.com. Hope to see you guys in the program. All right, let's jump on into the interview. Hopefully you enjoy this as much as I did. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD interview. Every single week we interview top entrepreneurs and just strip top badasses, you guys, out there dominating their space, that are choosing to not play life small, but to go out there and do big things with this one life that we have. So today, you guys, got a special guest on the show, friend of mine, serial entrepreneur, guy that's doing massive things out there. Doren Aldana, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, no, stoked to have you on, man. And, you know, I know today, we've got a lot of similarities, similar paths that led us into entrepreneurship, fitness backgrounds, and now you're in the consulting space, software space. But before we jump into what you're doing today, dude, let's rewind the clocks, man. Let's go back and talk about your journey that led to entrepreneurship in the first place.
Well, believe it or not, my story starts with a trip to the Coliseum to go see Michael Jackson. Yes, the story starts with MJ. And it's kind of funny. I was about, 6, 7. I can't remember how old I was. I was young whippersnapper. And I remember my mom took me for a surprise on my birthday. And I had no idea what the surprise was. But as soon as we showed up to the big Coliseum, she told me it was Michael Jackson. I just blew my lid. I was so jacked. And she said, I just have to wait to see if there's any tickets. She's a single mom, bless her soul. You know, I had an autistic older brother. I was a younger brother. We were on modest, very meager means. And she just had this harebrained idea to go and, bring her son for a surprise to see Michael Jackson with no tickets. So she goes to the front door and Of course, she finds out there's no tickets. There's only scalper tickets for like an obscene amount of money. So she comes back with a sad look on her face, total disappointment in her eyes. She says, "I'm sorry, son. There are no tickets left, and I can't afford the scalper tickets, so we can't go." And I was just devastated. It just pierced my heart. I was so pissed. She handed me a Michael Jackson T-shirt as my consolation prize. I didn't care about the T-shirt. I wanted to see MJ live. But I think there was something that happened in that moment that was kind of a culmination of a lot of different experiences throughout my childhood. Both of my parents came from modest, meager means. They were doing the best they can with what they knew. And I heard "we can't afford it" over and over and over and over again. And I think that was the breaking point. That point in my life, that moment when I was so jacked to see MJ and then it didn't happen because of lack of finances, there was this lightning bolt in my soul that said, you know what? This ain't going to happen. When I rise up as a father and raise my own family, this ain't going to happen. And so I had this ambition at a very young age to break free from that financial bondage. Of course, like many entrepreneurs, I launched into entrepreneurship with Amway, selling soaps, potions, and lotions, to selling it to people who didn't want it, couldn't afford it, and drawing circles. And that was a great way to cut my teeth into selling and breaking through my fears. And then I had to put myself to university because I didn't want to be a lackey on a construction job site forever. So I figured, what was my favorite class in school? PE. Perfect. I'll be a PE teacher. But then halfway through university, I realized I'm not really mentally fit to work for anybody. So that kind of botched that plan. But in order to put myself to university and actually finish what I started, I figured, there's a lot of starters, not many finishers. So I'm going to finish what I started. I got my degree, even though I knew I wasn't going to use it. But it's expensive to do that. So I had to come up with the money somehow. So my parents weren't going to help. So I ended up getting a job for College Pro Painters as a franchisee. And that's what really poured the gasoline on my entrepreneurial fire. They taught me how to hire, how to fire, how to market, how to sell, how to build a business. It was an extraordinary experience. I had my own mentor as a general manager. And so I did that for a couple of years, did really well. I got Rookie of the Year my first year, Manager of the Year my second year. It was a huge gush of wind into my entrepreneurial sales, so to speak. And then I got into a bunch of different sales roles and different MLMs and this and that and the other. And then I was selling education savings plans, and I was bombing around town listening to Anthony Robbins, because when you're selling, you're only as good as your last sale, and the only way to improve your skills is to improve the meat between your two ears. So I was listening to Anthony Robbins, getting all jacked and juiced, and I was like, dude, this is off the chain, man. This stuff is making such a difference. And I started coaching people who didn't want it either, like my family, my friends. But I was so jacked about what I was learning and applying in my life. I was like, you know what? I need to start my own coaching company. So I started my coaching company in 2003, Power of Choice Coaching. And it morphed into helping mortgage pros, because I had a client of mine who was a mortgage pro he was actually referred to me by a buddy of mine. And he was a mortgage pro at a bank. He was on salary plus a little commish. He was getting tired of the humdrum 9 to 5 with a glass ceiling over his head. So I was around that time realizing, dude, if I don't learn this thing called marketing, I'm going to have skinny kids for real, because I'm great at coaching. I can coach your socks off, but if no one knows about me, I'm the best kept secret around. I think a lot of people watching or listening to this right now, that's kind of your conundrum is, you're great at what you do, but if you're a secret agent, that's not going to pay very well. You know what I mean? So I started to study marketing and just become a pariah for information on marketing, buying the tapes and the CDs and the courses and the books and all this. And I started to teach this client what I was learning. Make a long story short, within 8 months, we tripled the money he was making at the bank. Last year, he did over 100 mil. He's been doing over 100 mil for the last 5+ years. He's on track to do over 140 mil in funded volume as a mortgage professional this year. So needless to say, not enough to live on, but pretty good start, right?
Yeah, no, I love it, man. I love it. So before we go into deeper of the consulting space and what you're doing, because I know you've got some other big ventures taking place today, but I want to go into, again, back in your journey of as you're going through this path that you went through, man, because so many entrepreneurs and so many people, it's easy to talk about your successes. I have very few people talk about those failures and that adversity that we had to overcome, and I'm sure that you had some challenging experiences. I hate the word failure because they're truly our best learning experiences that define us. As you were going through this journey, man, what were some of those biggest obstacles that you had to overcome that have truly defined you the entrepreneur that you are today?
Well, there are so many. It's hard to choose one or two. There are more than I could shake a stick at, frankly. But the first thing that comes to mind is just the self-doubt. There are failures in the sense of not being able to pay the bills or having too much month at the end of the money and all that. A lot of people can relate to that. But the biggest hurdle, friction point, challenge for me that I think I'm still in the process of really unlocking and unleashing is really owning my unique gift, owning my power, owning my strengths and abilities, owning my ability to provide value and to be of service and be a contributor, even in spite of the fact that I still have faults and failures and insufficiencies and inadequacies. I still fall short on a lot of different things. I can't let that stop me. So, if I could be succinct, I think the biggest thing for me as an entrepreneur is, getting off my assets and getting to work. You know what I mean? Like, not letting the fact that I don't have it all figured out hold me back, but just saying, you know what, there's no such thing as failure, like you say, just feedback, just another opportunity to start again more intelligently. I've failed so many times on so many things. I mean, it's ridiculous, whether it be failed direct mail campaigns, failed email campaigns, failed product launches. I mean, it's ridiculous, but as John Maxwell would say, the world-class leader, developer and leader expert, he says, we got to fail forward. When you want to accelerate your speed of success, you got to accelerate your speed of failure. And I'm just starting to really tap into that so that I don't let my stinking thinking hold me back. I don't let the fact that I don't have it all figured out stop me. It's just, what can I do today? What's the focus today? What can I do to grow today? What can I do to add value today? What can I do to be a meaningful contribution to those whom I serve today? And I think the more I unlock and unleash that, it's not only obviously making a difference in the bottom line and the revenue, but it's also making a difference in how enjoyable the journey is, because I'm not getting hung up on what I can't do. I'm focusing on what I can do.
Yep, love it, man. So you jump into the consulting space, the coaching consulting space, 2003. Really in the mortgage space. Have you always stayed there, or I know you still consult in that space, but have you ventured into other coaching other types of entrepreneurs and other industries, or have you really just stayed specific to that niche?
Well, I go really deep, narrow, and rich with what I do with Mortgage Pros because I've been doing it since 2005. But of course, as you know, I'm launched now into a much broader space with reputation management. And my company, Truth Trust Marketing, we launched it in September of 2014. We provide marketing solutions in the way of a software called the Testimonial Engine to help service-based businesses and small businesses that are locally based, local service-based businesses in particular, but certainly small businesses in general, automate the process of getting client testimonials and sharing them on social media and review sites like Google, Facebook, Yelp, Zillow, etc. So that's been really exciting because it's been a new area for me to gain distinction, to gain specialized knowledge and expertise. It's obviously the way of the future. Everyone, before they buy anything now, is searching for reviews. So when it comes to consulting, I'm doing more and more reputation management type of consulting, and I'm also working on, in the words of Michael Gerber from the E-Myth, franchise prototypes for replicating myself so that I'm not the only one disseminating this knowledge. So that's definitely where I'm spreading my wings and soaring right now.
Yes. What led you into the software game, man? I mean, what sparked that interest to jump into that space a couple years back?
To be frank, it wasn't actually my choosing per se. It more chose me than I chose it. I actually had a partner when I launched the business, and he's the one that introduced me to the concept. And once I tested the software for myself, I was like, dude, this is off the chain. This is phenomenal. I can see this having so much perennial appeal with so many different verticals. So that's what really grabbed my attention. But since then, we've parted ways. We were good for a short time, not for a long time. So we decided to part ways. I bought him out. But that spark has now been fanned into flame, and it just keeps growing and going.
Yeah, and I love what you're doing, man. I actually personally just signed up for the program. I've got my consult tomorrow to get my account set up, because it's so true, dude. It's like, first thing I do before I go buy any product, even if I'm not buying it from Amazon, I go to Amazon and I see how many reviews they have, what this looks like, and testimonials, and it's something that so many entrepreneurs are falling short on, is that social proof, man.
Yeah.
So I love it, dude. Absolutely love it. So I know that you're a dude that also you're very successful at your business, right? But you're also still focused on your health and your family and making sure that you're well-rounded there. And it's something that so many entrepreneurs miss, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see them there where they get a fat bank account, they're successful there, but they let their health go, the relationships go. What are some things that you do, man, to make sure that you don't get so out of whack where you lose those relationships, lose that health? How are you maintaining it all?
Yeah, well, I mean, it comes down to proper perspective, obviously. When you have the proper perspective, everything kind of falls into place. I heard a great quote when I went to a seminar with David Fry. He's kind of a marketing guru that was instrumental in honing my skills as a marketer. And I still remember it to this day. He said, "No amount of success outside the home can make up for failure inside the home." I thought, that is so true. I get goosebumps just saying it again. And so I very much live my life that way. I believe that if we're not healthy, if we don't have vitality, it doesn't matter how much money we have, it's not going to be fulfilling. There was a question asked of a great Buddhist leader, the Dalai Lama, and they asked him, what surprises you about humanity? And the gist of what he replied back was that they would invest all this time and energy to make money, sacrifice their health to make money, and then spend all their money to get their health back. And I really believe that as an entrepreneur, I perform at my best. I produce the best results, and I show up at the highest level when I'm feeling good. And if I don't have my health, I can't feel good. So I'm a strong proponent of crafting a life, in the words of Jim Rohn, by the fine art of living well. I love those words, the fine art of living well, so that I can show up and be the best I can be as a dad, as a husband, as a leader in my business, as a mentor in my business, as a friend, as a mentor in my church. Everywhere I show up, I want to show up at the fullest. I don't want to just show up running on fumes. So from that perspective, everything starts to fall into place. When you have a high value for something, you make the time, you make the money, you allocate the resources because it's a priority, So I'll get up. The first thing I'm a huge proponent of is early to bed, early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Good old Benny Franklin, he had it right. So I like to go to bed early. I hit the pillow by about 9:30. I'm out within about 20 seconds. My wife is always so jealous. I can fall asleep so fast. And then I'm up by 5 a.m. I will tell you, I've been doing the 5 a.m. wake up for a long time. And many of you might think, well, it's easy for him. He's a morning person. No, it's hard every morning. I don't feel like doing it ever. There's not one morning I feel like scraping myself out of bed with a spatula and getting out there and doing it. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. But the truth is, successful people aren't people who like doing the things that unsuccessful people don't like to do. The truth is, successful people find a way to do the things, they condition themselves to do the things that they themselves don't like to do, and successful people alike don't like to do, but they're influenced by the desire for pleasing results, not pleasing methods. And that's the difference maker. So I understand that. I got to lead by example. So I'll get out of bed in the morning, 5 a.m., I'll crank out a good hour and a half before I get sucked into the vortex of email and working in the business. I'll work on the business for an hour and a half. I'm in project mode. I'm cranking. I'm Mach 10 with my hair on fire, and I don't have much hair to spare. So, I'm on a mission. I'm hungry right now. So normally I would work out during that time, but right now I'm hustling when no one else is around. No one's distracting me. There's no derailments. There's no interruptions. There's no Skype messages, no emails, no phone calls. I get to work. I set it and forget it and do it. And so when I show up at 5 a.m., from 5 a.m. to 7, I'm working on the business. And then from there, from 7 to 7:30, I'm working on myself. I pop in my earbuds. I listen to some inspirational, motivational, educational content. And I do what I call learning while I'm burning. I'm working out while I'm exercising. I got a little home gym. And then after that, I get the kids ready for school. I get them a nice wholesome breakfast with some eggs and some vegetables and all this. You'd be freaked out to see what kind of breakfast we have, man. It's pretty weird. Like greens. Every time we got greens on the plate. Nutrition. Good premium plus fuel in the tank. You know what I mean? And then I have time. I'm a believer in Christ. I'm a follower of Christ. So I have time meeting with my maker from like 9 to 10. I'm in the Word. I'm on my knees in prayer. I'm in the scriptures. I'm memorizing scripture. I'm meditating. I'm journaling. So I have all that time. I don't actually hit the office until 10 a.m. But can you imagine, Joshua, with all that time spent between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. consistently, day in, day out, month in, month out, year in, year out, the kind of trajectory that sets someone on when you make the main things the main things. You don't major in the minors, you're majoring in the majors. Can you imagine that? What difference that would make?
Yeah, no, I love it, man, because, you look at, like, let's just say a professional sports team. Right? Like, I mean, they're spending the vast majority of the time, let's say 50, 60 hours or more a week, perfecting their craft, right? Practicing, rehearsing, prepping, so then they can step on the field for 3 hours on a Sunday or whatever and execute at their best. So, no, I love it, man. I'm a huge believer in that. We've got to show up to execute at our best selves. So I love that, man.
That's it. Yeah, the champion isn't made in the ring. It's made in the training gym.
Yep.
In the grind every day.
Yeah, so you're obviously a dude that takes his self-development very seriously. What are some of the best books, business books, if you will, or just overall life books that have had a massive impact on your overall success that you would recommend to our listeners?
Well, I know it's not popular nowadays because it's kind of old hat. It seems like an old stuffy book. But, dude, the Owner's Manual for Life, the Bible, I think is the most foundational book, in terms of wisdom and living an abundant life. There's nothing better than, getting the Owner's Manual and understanding what to do to operate at the highest level from the omnipotent being that created life itself. I mean, there's nothing better than that. There's nothing that even compares. So I like to start there. The word says that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord, and fear is just respect. It's honor. It's being thirsty for knowledge from the maker of life. So I like to start there. That's like the gold standard, if you will. And I've got so many mentors, man. Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Anthony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Les Brown. Oh, there's so many, man. Chet Holmes, Jay Abraham. Oh, I mean, just go on YouTube and start, searching for motivational speakers or, searching for some of these names. You'll get just a plethora of free, exceptional, wicked, awesome content. So I'm a big audio buff. I love audio because I can, while my hands are busy, my mind is free. As Anthony Robbins would say, it's net time, no extra time. So you can marinate your mind in positivity while you're doing other things. So I love that. I mean, even if you're not consciously paying attention to everything that's being said, by immersing your mind in positivity, in wisdom, in skill, in knowledge, in discernment, in understanding, you can't help but have positivity come out. You put positivity in, you can't help but have positivity out. It's just cause and effect universe, right? So I'm a big proponent of that. I love to learn and burn. I love turning my vehicle into a university on wheels. So I like to start there. I'll read before bed, but I'm like, by the second page, I'm passing out. So if I didn't have audio content, I'd be hooped for my professional personal development. It is a lifesaver for me.
So when it comes to your businesses, man, because, most people have a very difficult time just running and operating one business, but you're a guy that operates multiple. How do you stay focused and make sure one's not getting neglected and not you're able to spread your time out and not get too distracted? I mean, do you have any kind of productivity tips that you follow to make sure that you're able to do that?
Yeah, it's a good question, and frankly, that's my perennial challenge. I'll be real. That is my perennial challenge because we all have the same amount of time, 24/7. It's how we use it that determines how fruitful we are. Some people, they're making 30 G's a year. Some people are making 30 mil a year. The difference is how fruitful they are with the time, the talent, and the resources they're given. So I like to plan my weeks in advance. For me, that's like mission critical number one. I don't understand how people, even with one business, can just fly by the seat of their pants and think that they're going to get optimal performance and optimal results. They have no plan. They're just winging it, and they're in reactive mode all day long. Here comes an email, I'll respond to that. Here comes a phone call, I'll respond to that. Here comes a text message, I'll respond to that. All they're doing is reacting. There's no proactive design to it. There's no intentionality. There's no purposeful intention to it. So as an entrepreneur, I think it's mission critical that we set our sights on our objectives before the week starts. As Jim Rohn would say, don't start your week until you've finished it in your calendar. Don't start your day until you finish it in your calendar. It's called purposeful intention. You're either running your business or your business is running you. You're either running your life or your life is running you. You're either being proactive or reactive. There's no in between. So I do what's called weekly review and planning. Well, I'll review my previous week, look at my key performance indicators, KPIs. Every business should have some KPIs, even if it's just 2 or 3. You should be measuring those, tracking them. You should have I hate shouldn't all over you. That's probably not a good idea. I don't like that word should. But you'll be delighted with the impact of measuring KPIs once a week and putting them in an Excel spreadsheet or on a whiteboard or both. And that's the review portion. And then the planning portion is where I make a master list of my to-dos for each respective business. And they kind of just flow in and out of my consciousness throughout the week. So I'll kind of have a capture tool to keep track of those things. And then I like to plan my weeks on Saturday mornings. And I will go through my master quote unquote to-do list, which to-do lists are boring. You think of that as like, oh, seriously? How mind-numbingly boring is that, a to-do list? What I like to do is I like to take the to-do list and I like to sift through it and discern the ones that are game changers. And in Stephen Covey's time management matrix, generally they are the important but not urgent. Most of us get caught up in the urgent and important. We're always putting out fires. We're in reactive mode, putting out fires. We got our fireman's cap on, you know what I mean? The game changer, the quadrant of greatness in that time management matrix is quadrant number 2. We got quadrant number 1, which is urgent and important. Quadrant number 2, which is important but not urgent. And then we got the other 2. I think it's not important and urgent, and then not important and not urgent. So what we want to do is focus on the vital few as opposed to the trivial many. So the trivial many is most of the stuff most entrepreneurs get caught up in. It's called working in the business, not on the business. So when I plan my weeks in advance for my 2 businesses, I really want to think about what's important but not urgent that is in line with my vital few. I mean, how many of us actually sit back, Joshua, and ask ourselves, what are my vital few? My 1, 2, or 3 activities that would push the needle on profit and performance at the highest level. Most of us, we're so busy just being busy, we lose sight of the fact that it's not about being busy, it's about being productive. We confuse activity with productivity. And I think that's where we go wrong is we don't take time to reflect and really think about, okay, I'm not going to let life run me. I'm not going to let my business run me. I run it. I'm creating it by design, not by default. So if I could choose 1, 2, or 3 things that really push the needle on performance, the top, most profitable, most revenue generating activities, what would those top 3 be? And if you take the time to plan your weeks in advance and block schedule those things in your calendar with the weekly review and planning, I guarantee you it'll be a game changer. So that's what I do with my 2 businesses.
Yeah, so a lot of our listener base, the vast majority, are in the real estate space, and you got a lot of loan officers that are here listening right now. What are some suggestions for their KPIs that they should be paying attention to? Because you're out there consulting,
Sure.
a lot of talented loan officers that maybe they're really talented at what they do, but they're not treating this as a business and paying attention, like you said, to those indicators. What would some of the
Sure.
suggestions you'd give them?
Well, most mortgage professionals would track their funded volume. Most realtors, I imagine, you correct me if I'm wrong, would probably track their sales volume, total, not revenue, not commission per se, but sales volume. But certainly the key KPIs I would recommend are, one of the essentials would be commissions in your operating account. That would be one. But more important would be the seeds that feed the pipeline that actually contribute to that revenue. So things like for mortgage professionals, it would be like number of live contacts with past clients. If you have a past client database, your income is inextricably linked with how many times you communicate in a meaningful way, strategically, with your past clients. Obviously, if you're just calling them up and you don't have the right strategy, it's not altogether that profitable. But if you have the right strategy, calling your clients on a regular basis can be huge for pushing the needle on profit. Another one would be how many meetings. So for mortgage pros, another one would be how many meetings how many live contacts you've made with realtors. I recommend top producing realtors because if they're going to be calling referral partners, they might as well be calling the top dogs who have the most amount of inventory and who can be sending the most amount of business. And then, of course, scheduling, how many meetings scheduled, how many referral partner meetings scheduled. Because think about it. If all they focused on is how many live contacts they made with clients and how many referral partner meetings they scheduled, dude, can you think of anything more profitable than those two activities?
Right. Yeah, it's I always give the comparison of like if you're trying to lose weight, are you going to focus on the scale? I'm not saying don't pay attention, that's a scoreboard, but what we want to focus on is the daily activities, right? The daily caloric consumption, and that's in my real estate business, man, it's our reach outs, it's our connections, and our appointments made. Just every single day honing in on those.
Right. So, but if you're not tracking that, you can't improve that which you don't measure, right? So if you're not tracking it, you're just flying by the seat of your pants, and it's so easy. It's so easy as human beings to confuse activity with productivity. We start to BS ourselves and thinking we're, being busy. Well, who cares about being busy? You don't bring busy to the bank and pay your mortgage with busy. You pay your mortgage with productivity. It's called cash money, baby. That's what you pay your mortgage with, and that means you got to be more than just busy. You got to be productive. And, if you're like me and you've got a wife and you got kidlets, I got 4, I owe it to my wife and kids to be fruitful, to be productive, because, when I'm with them, I want to really be with them, and I want to be able to feel like when I leave the cash cave, I've been slaying some giants, I've been slaying some dragons, I've been making some things happen, not just, dinking around on Facebook and bullshitting myself thinking that I'm being busy. But who cares about busy? Busy does not do jack. You can be busy going broke. There are people with good intentions who work really hard that go broke because it ain't enough to be just busy. It ain't enough just to have good intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. We have got to work smart, not just hard. And that's why we need to be rigorous about the vital few and say, okay, how can I track my KPIs as it relates to my vital few? Okay, am I going to use an Excel spreadsheet? Am I going to use a whiteboard? How am I going to track these key drivers so that I can feel like I win every single week based on these KPIs? So, for example, one meeting a week with a key strategic referral partner. You think about that. Even if you take 2 weeks off a year, which is what most people do, that's 50 referral partner meetings a year, right? I'm not even talking about client calls yet. I'm just talking about that one activity of meeting with key strategic referral partners. That's 50 meetings a year. Do you think that's going to have some kind of positive trajectory impact in an entrepreneur's life if they were to make that their modus operandi, their must, as opposed to just a should?
Yep, love it, man, love it. So, where would let's just say we have a lender that's listening right now, or somebody that's in the mortgage business that wants to reach out, learn more about you, learn more about your coaching consulting services that you offer. Where's the best place to go learn more about what that looks like?
Sure. I got a few websites. MortgageMarketingCoach.com is one. We also have some free videos in a free video series at AutopilotReferralSystems.com. Some really killer content there on how to get referrals on autopilot from clients, from realtors, from strategic partners, etc. So AutopilotReferralSystems.com. I think those would probably be your biggies.
Yep, awesome. And those of you that are watching or listening, they'll be right below. So just make sure to click those links, and it'll take you right there. So back to your testimonial software, because one thing I really like about this, I mean, one, it's for all industries. You know, I'm signing up for it, not just for my real estate business, but also for our consulting businesses that we have. But I look at, let's just speak to real estate agents, right? You know, where are they going right now? They're going to Zillow, right? And they're begging all their clients to get on there now. They don't own the data. They don't, to me, it just wouldn't make sense to put all of your testimonials in a space where you don't have control over. Right? So, I mean, I really love what you guys are doing. So talk to us a little bit more about what that process looks like and the power of testimonials.
Well, we'll start off with how most people do their reputation management, whether it be a mortgage professional or a real estate agent or a spa owner. Generally, what happens is they choose one key review site that they want to build their reputation on, for example, Zillow or Google Plus or something like that. And they will send an email to their client after closing or after the transaction is complete, and they'll ask for a review on that platform. Now, that's all fine and dandy. The problem is, though, is that number one, they don't have a system, so it can often be cumbersome. So if they don't, think about it, or if, they get derailed by a distraction, then they forget about it. They never return back. They don't have a system that's just set and forget it. So it's kind of, intermittent. It's not consistent because they don't have a system. And system as an acronym stands for save yourself time, energy, money, and stress. That's what system stands for. So it should be something predictable, reliable, consistent that you can delegate to a monkey and have them operate the whole thing. It's like easy breezy lemon squeezy. You pop in their email, you pop in their name, done like dinner. That's how easy it should be. And when it's easy, that's when it's consistent. So that's the first thing that's lacking for a lot of peeps, is they just don't have a system. The second thing is, when they ask for a review on Zillow or on Google, if they don't have an account, Joshua, if the client doesn't have an account for Zillow or for Google, chances are they're not going to do jack, because they might love you, they might appreciate you, they might appreciate what you've done, but they're not about to go and spend this additional time, for the most part, to set up an additional, to create an account just to submit a review. You with me? Yeah, so the beauty of the testimonial engine is, number one, it makes it super easy for you, the business owner, to ask for reviews, because all you have to do is enter their name and email, or upload a CSV file with all the names and emails, and it's just set it and forget it. It does all the heavy lifting beyond that to ask for reviews. So that's one key component that makes a big difference. Second key component is, we make it easy for your client to submit a review because they don't need an account. You see, they submit the review. Now they're in the mood to sing your praises because they've just typed in the review and they've just submitted a 5-star testimonial. And on the thank you page, what happens if it's positive, and only if it's positive? We'll talk about the negative scenario in a moment. If it's positive, it directs them to a custom branded thank you page that asks them to copy and paste that positive review onto 1, 2, or 3 of those review sites that you toggle in your dashboard that you want to build your reputation on, such as Facebook, Google Plus, Zillow, Yelp, whatever, up to 3. The problem with giving them too many options is a confused mind always says no, right? So we want to kind of limit it to 3, maybe max 4. Now, the beauty of that is, think about it for a moment. We've just captured their positive review. We've data merged it right on the page, on the thank you page, so they don't have to type it again. They just copy it on their clipboard and then paste it. If they have a Gmail account, they'll paste it on your Google page. If they have a Facebook account, they'll paste it on your Facebook page. If they have a Yelp account, they'll paste it on your Yelp page. So they will choose 1, 2, or 3 of these platforms, usually just one, and they will choose the one that they have an account for. And what that does is it increases the conversion rate of the people that will submit a review, because you've got them in this momentum state. They've just submitted that review, and you give them multiple options, so they choose the one they have an account for. Can you see how that's going to work? Yeah. And then here's the game changer. Now you're getting a whole bunch of reviews that can auto feed right onto your website using our embed code. So you don't have to update your website every time you get a testimonial. It's just boom, auto feed. All your latest and greatest testimonials auto feed right onto your website. So no fuss there. It's all done for you. Plus all the positive reviews all share on your social media channels. So your Google Plus, your Facebook, your Twitter, all your fans and followers will see these positive reviews coming through in your timeline on your newsfeed, in their newsfeed. So they see that you're legit. They see all these amazing 5-star reviews. They're singing your praises. All your happy clients are saying, Joshua rocks. He's the real deal. He did this for my life. He changed my life in this way. And so all of a sudden now they're getting connected to real life stories of how you've been transforming and changing people's lives. And if they haven't partaken in that miracle process with you yet, obviously they're more inclined to do so because they're seeing not what you're saying about yourself, but what your clients are saying. And studies show that consumers believe customer testimonials 12 times more, even if they're online testimonials, 12 times more than anything you'll say about your business, anything that you tout or you claim about your business. That's insane, 12 times more. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, well, that social proof's important because, I mean, as entrepreneurs, we should all be saying how great our businesses are, so the
Right.
social proof's massive. So now you started talking about, what happens with the negative testimonials then?
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. So if you use the normal system that most people use, which is Google Plus or Yelp or Zillow, for example, in the real estate game, if they're using that platform, if they don't filter them out first and you've got a disgruntled client, you're liable to get a disgruntled client sharing all that negativity onto a review site that you cannot remove that negative blemish. Once you get it on your record, for the most part, you can't get them removed, right? So the testimonial engine acts like a firewall, and what it does is it gets the review first, and if you get 3 stars or below, it's going to send that disgruntled client to what I call the damage control page. And what that does is it sends them to a private, confidential information capture page where you will empathize with them and ask for more data. What went wrong? How could we improve? The moment you get that negative review, that complaint, you get notified, or a key person on your team gets notified by SMS and or text. So you can be all over it like white on rice and hopefully turn them around. Studies show that 7 out of 10 consumers will do business with a business again after a complaint has been submitted if it's been rectified quickly. So speed is the name of the game with complaints. And that's the beauty of the testimonial engine, is it acts as a firewall, so none of that negativity gets on to these review sites that you can never remove that tarnish from. And you're able to be on top of your client sentiment and be able to turn these people around right away, like real time. You get the text, pick up the phone, boom, you're on it. And that's what's going to impress them enough to want to stay with you.
Yeah, it sounds killer, man. I mean, it's a space that everybody listening needs to be, right? It doesn't matter what industry you're in. That social proof is so massive. So where do our listeners go learn more about that? And then what are we talking about cost-wise? Because I know it's really affordable.
Sure. One thing I want to mention before I give the website, one thing that a lot of people don't really think about is how you can strategically use positive reviews to get more referrals. But think about it, Joshua. Who better to get referrals from than someone who's just been singing from the proverbial rooftop, singing your praises in the form of 5-star reviews? There's just no one better, right? So if you have a system like the testimonial engine to capture reviews on autopilot while you sleep and convert at least 20% of your client database into 5-star rave reviews, it only makes sense to plug that into a dedicated review capture page, or I should say dedicated review referral attraction campaign, rather, a dedicated referral attraction campaign that allows you to get referrals from the people who have been giving positive reviews. I developed a killer letter called the Magic Wand Letter. It sounds cheesy, and frankly it is, but it makes cheese in your wallet appear as well. So it's that kind of cheese that I'm all about. So what it does is it allows you to send a letter in the mailbox to your clients with a toy magic wand. enclosed. So they can't help but open because it's lumpy, right? So there's a lump in there, they have to open it. Their curiosity gets the best of them every time. So they open it up. The headline says, I wish, poof, I could have more clients like you. And the gist of the letter is, you wish you could wave that magic wand and have other awesome clients like them, and perhaps they can make your wish come true by sending you more referrals, right? Dude, this thing works so well. One of my clients sent out 50 of these letters. He got 18 G's in additional commissions from 50 letters. For real. Not too shabby, right? Yeah, I mean, it cost him about $100, and he made 18 G's. So that's the kind of power you have when you plug a testimonial software in with a referral capture campaign. And obviously you want to follow up by phone on those letters. So to tie in with the testimonial engine now, with how to reach out to me if you want to get more info, I put together a killer little resource called the Ultimate Testimonial Toolkit. It's got checklists, it's got review request templates, it's got training, it's got pretty much everything you need to really crush it when it comes to your reputation management. And I put it all together in a really succinct power pack PDF. And you get access not only to all that, but also that letter, that magic wand letter, in a customizable Word doc. The exact same letter that generated 18 G's from 50 letters from one of my clients. And I put together a special domain just for your peeps, Joshua, where if they'd like to get it, they can get it for free. And all you need to do to get it is go to mytestimonialengine.com/GSD. mytestimonialengine.com/GSD, and it's all yours. No strings attached. You just opt in, and it's all there for you for free.
Yeah, love it. And you guys go check it out. Like I said, the links will be below where you can just click on the link. We'll make it nice and easy on you. It's something that I've signed up for. I actually signed up a couple weeks ago. I've been traveling, though, so tomorrow is the first opportunity I have to do my initial setup with them. But the software's killer, so we'll definitely go take a look at it. So, Doren, a couple last questions for you, man. And I know you're busy and you got to get jamming probably soon, but a couple last questions for you, dude. So, as entrepreneurs, as hardcore drivers, it can be very difficult at times, dude, to shut it off, right? Is there anything that you do, to kind of shut it off to ensure that you're not getting burnout, let's say, and just driving too hard?
Well, the smartphone is the absolute antithesis of shutting it off. I mean, it's like, the smartphone allows this ubiquitous umbilical cord plugged into your business at all times. And my biggest challenge, frankly, is turning off the smartphone, because all my businesses are online based. So if I want to get unplugged, I really have to switch it off. I like to turn it on to silent. And my mom, aside from my buddies who call it occasionally, usually it's my mom who calls. Everyone else just texts me. I don't know what it is about nowadays, but everyone just texts. But my mom's always pissed because she's always getting the voicemail, because I often have my phone on vibrate or on silent and I don't hear it. So I like to turn that off, just shut down. What else can I say? That's probably the biggest piece. But how do you do that as a real estate agent or a mortgage pro, where you feel like if you miss a phone call, you're going to miss a deal? That's the fear connection, So I think it's more of a mindset than a tactic, because a lot of mortgage professionals, solopreneurs, realtors, they have this paradigm that they are the business and that speed of service is the only way to get and keep clients. And for the most part, that's true. And if you're a solopreneur and you're the only one rendering the service, well, obviously, yeah, I mean, it's all on you, right? You're the chief cook and bottle washer. But I think the key to having a business where you can really unplug, and have true freedom, is to build your business by design to create freedom, which means starting with the end in mind and saying, okay, well, if my business really was designed to set me free, what would that look like? How many hours a week would I be working? What key personnel would I need to have in place so I can do what I do best and get the best to do all the rest, right? What key vital few activities would I be doing? What trivial many activities would I be delegating out? so that you can start to work on your business, not just in your business, with an intention in mind that's meaningful. People always say you got to work on your business, not just in your business. But if you don't have a meaningful intention, if you don't have a vision for a business that sets you free, it's just words. It doesn't grab your heart. It doesn't galvanize you into action. It's just words that kind of go in one ear and out the other. You know what I mean? So I think having the vision for a business that sets you free, and then working on it every week and ideally every day, even if it's just an hour a day, even if it takes getting up at an ungodly hour like 5 a.m. to get on it, I think really is the key to unplugging, because otherwise you are the business. You don't have a systems-based business, you have a you-based business. And as long as you have a you-based business, then you're feeling like you got to answer every freaking phone call that comes in within 2 nanoseconds. And you're feeling like you have to do everything. And then you go on vacation and you wonder why you're not really relaxing, because you're checking emails every 3 minutes. You know what I mean? So I think it's more than just tactics. I think it's a mindset. I think it comes down to building a business by design rather than just going with the flow by default. And it's a work in process. Your business should be like you. It should be evolving. It should be growing. You should have more freedom every year. If you don't have more freedom every year, there's a problem. You look at yourself in the mirror and you know what the source of it is.
Yep. Love it, man. Love it. So let's say something happened, dude, and you financially got wiped out, right? Like all this went away. You're starting over, starting from scratch. Your health's good. Your family's health's good. All that's good. But business-wise, starting over, but you've retained all this knowledge that you learned over all the years. What are the first few things you'd immediately do to go out there and rebuild this massive business that you built, knowing what you know today?
Dude, I would apply the E-Myth on steroids. I didn't read that book and I didn't apply it. I was so delayed in that acquisition and application of knowledge, and that really slowed me down from creating the freedom I wanted. So I would execute the E-Myth to the T. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to revenue, and having that revenue fund freedom. You can't fund freedom if you don't have revenue, because good people, superstars, don't come cheap. They don't come for free. And you don't want a bunch of duds. You want a bunch of studs on your team, right? So you got to drive revenue to start. So if I was to rebuild again, it's always, I've found from my experience, it's always way more expedient to work through the relationships, the influence, the database, the following of other people who already known, liked, and trust, than to try to build from scratch or try to drive people to an opt-in page who don't know me from a hole in the wall and get a 1 in 1,000 conversion rate and all that BS. I would just team up. I would reach out. I would build a list of the top 100 key strategic potential referral partners who have influence, who have clout, who sell a complementary product or service to me, who market to the same clientele I want to market to. I would reach out to them. I wouldn't be selling my stuff. I would reach out to them and say, dude, I want to be of value to you. How can I serve? Who's your ideal client? Maybe I could send you a potential referral partner, or maybe I could send you more business, or maybe I can hook you up with a free, account to the software. Or, it's all about giving first and building those relationships first. And then once that trust is fostered, then they give you the keys to the castle. They open up the door to the inner vault, per se, and they endorse you to their tribe, to their herd. And that's where you're not getting one deal or one client every month or two. You're getting an avalanche of clients all in one shot. So that's what I would do. I like calling it, Chet Holmes has a strategy called the Dream 100. We'll just stick with that. It's the Dream 100 strategy, using Chet Holmes terminology. You get the top 100 key, highest capacity, most profitable referral partners on a list, and you just keep adding value until they say, I give up, man. You've been blessing me too much, too long. I give up. How can I help you? How can I promote you? How can I bring you into my fold? How can I make you part of my team? How can I, reciprocate? That's, I think, the fastest, easiest way to really rebuild from scratch, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep, love it, man, love it. So I started this podcast, dude, because out there in all businesses, right? I mean, I operate 5 businesses, and it seems like every single business that exists out there, there's all these quote unquote gurus, all the smoke and mirrors, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
so tough to understand what kind of information are you getting. Is this a charlatan or an actual doer? And I just got fed up with it. So I'm like, let me go start a podcast where I go out there and interview the doers, guys like yourself that are in the trenches that actually built uber successful businesses, how to overcome that adversity. And our listeners are listening because they want to get that tactical information, that inspiration to go out there and create an epic life for themselves like you've been able to create for yourself. So with that being said, man, do you have any last pieces of inspiration or advice that you'd like to give our listener base with so they can go out and create that life they know they truly want and deserve?
Yeah, I think we need to stop. I don't want to say consuming, because I think we need to be seekers of wisdom. We need to be drinking deeply from good books and good audiobooks. But I think we need to take time out to stop and really listen. It's interesting. My wife told me the other day, she remembered the words from Earl Nightingale. If you've never heard Earl Nightingale speak, you got to pull him up on YouTube just so you can hear the sound of wisdom. If they had that on Wikipedia, the sound of wisdom, it should be Earl Nightingale's voice. He's just got this timbre, this tone of wisdom in his voice. It's a beautiful thing. And one of the nuggets he shares in Lead the Field is taking time out every day to sit down and journal how you can add more value to your marketplace, how you can serve at a higher level, how you can differentiate, how you can truly be exceptional, excellent, provide extraordinary value beyond just average, normal, mediocrity. So I think we need to stop rushing through days and rushing through life and take time out, even if it's just 3 times a week. Or maybe you can carve out 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, but whatever the tempo and the frequency is, to just take time and think. If you're a believer in God like I am, maybe even take time to pray and ask your Maker to reveal new insight, new revelation, to open your eyes to new opportunities that perhaps were right under your nose that you weren't open to because you're so busy being busy. You know what I mean? Instead of really just taking time to chill and be still and reflect and marinate on what really matters, what really counts, what you want to create in your life. Not living to work, but working to live, to create a life, not just making a living, but creating a life. As Jim Rohn would say, the fine art of living well.
Yeah, love it, man. Powerful words, my friend. And to our listener base, you guys, I know I end every podcast with this, but information without implementation is really just the start of delusion. So information, that's power. It's executing and taking action on that information that creates power in your world. So Doren drops so much amazing info, so many gold nuggets. Make sure that you take something that he shared with you today, go out there, take action, implement right now in your life so you can go out there and create the power in your world you know that you want and you deserve. Make sure to check out Doren's links below. They're going to be hyperlinked right below. Takes you to his site. You can learn more about his coaching, consulting platforms, and testimonial engine. And Doren, man, this has been a massive honor, dude. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to be here, dude.
Hey, thank you. It's been an honor. I appreciate you.
Yep, absolutely. All right, you guys, we will see you next time.